busted and busted all the way up to $64,000 yesterday, followed by a flash crash below $59,000 as Coinbase crashed, which was then quickly gobbled up faster than an American chowing down on cheeseburgers at an all-you-can-eat buffet. Is Bitcoin going to continue rising? Or in fact, are we about to get dumped on bigly? Over the last 24 hours, Bitcoin has experienced some of the biggest pumpage, the biggest rumpage that we've ever seen. But are we going to continue? Or in fact, are we about to get diddled a little bit? So if you like getting pumped on, but honestly, you really kind of like getting dumped on as well, hit that like, hit that subscribe, say hello to Kitty Cat. Also, get signed up to Femex Blow if you want to buy Bitcoin or altcoins. Without any further ado, let's absolutely potentially get massively dumped on. So if we look at Bitcoin on the daily chart, you can see so far today is a little bit different than the past 3 days. It looks as though we're potentially on the verge of getting diddled. As yesterday, we saw massive record-breaking inflows out of these Bitcoin spot ETFs, IBIT specifically. Is it time for a cool down? Is it time for a potential reach around, switcheroo? Or is it time potentially for alts to do a little bit of diddling themselves? So let's absolutely explore that idea. If we jump into this first, you can see Bagsy on Twitter highlighting, it feels like this back in 2021. And if we zoom in here, let's take a squeak peek at what he's talking about. This is Bitcoin right before, actually it's kind of obvious why it feels like this, because it was right before he broke the previous all-time highs, just like we're right now. So yes, obviously this is very clearly, in my opinion, exactly where we are. We're about to see something like this over the next couple of months. Obviously, that's literally exactly what I think everyone thinks. Bitcoin Munger also saying, whales have been doing nothing but slurping up Bitcoin this year. Your favorite influencers on Twitter with 1% of a Bitcoin have been telling you to sell, but he's saying he stands firm in saying that we're going much higher from here. It's something I've been covering as well. Basically, a lot of the sellers are just small wallets, but the people the whales are majority buying. So what does that tell you if whales are majority buying? The last time the MVRV was at this level at the start of a cycle uptrend was back in November of 2020 when Bitcoin was at about 16K, almost exactly percentage-wise away from the all-time highs at that time as we are now away from all-time highs percentage-wise now. If you speculate the same thing will occur, that's about $150,000 by mid-April 2024. Do you understand how crazy it can get? Guys, let's say nothing happens today. Let's say nothing happens tomorrow and the weekend. Weekends are honestly kind of boring. I actually tweeted about this yesterday that I don't really like weekend price action as much lately because all of the pumpiness, all the gainers, the craziness is kind of coming out when Larry Fink and BlackRock can gobble up a bunch of Bitcoin during the week. So the last few weekends have been kind of muted, boring, and I'm addicted to watching charts. So you're telling me I can't really watch the charts on the weekends because it's just boring? That kind of sucks, right? So we're also seeing this caution in the short term. And this is something I think is really important to talk about. Market makers may look to swipe liquidity between $55,000 to $58,000 again. If they do, he's saying buy there with double hands or both of them. Tough call to say if we go there, given the strength of flows and large liquidations yesterday, because we did see a pretty big dump yesterday, right? I'm going to talk about that as well when I get to the charts. But, potentially maybe we'll have an area where we do go below 60. And I want to talk about that towards the end of the video more so. But the Bitcoin bull market is underway. If you're sidelined, here's what the average dip looks like. They're brutal, they're quick. But if you see the price pulling back 20% plus, it may be the perfect opportunity to get in. And that's exactly how I feel about this market, right? If we look back during previous run-ups, really, if you get about a 20% dip, realistically, these are really good opportunities to get in. So what would a 20% dip look like for us right now? Well, if we, let's say that from the high here and we go down 20%, that would put us right at about 50K, which, if you look at this and you think this is an impossible level to backtest, I would say, no, absolutely. If we retested this would be very mega bullish, right? It would be an amazing setup, right? When we were trading at this range here, we got rejected here at about 48. We came back and we solidified about 40K as support, and then we lifted off. But again, keep in mind, we never really came back to test 30K after that, 6 months sideways there. because Bitcoin just became too bullish. It actually did have a pullback, but the bears simply could not get us all the way to 30K. The lowest we got was about 38K. So really, the first thing we want to look to see, I think 57 to 55, exactly what that tweet said, is a beautiful area to, if we get a decent pullback. 55 to 57, it's possible. And more so, if we get a real pullback down to about 50K, would be an amazing long entry, in my opinion. I mean, it's funny, like I'm talking about longing, but I'm already like basically 100% in the market. So I would have to scrounge up some funds to do that. I mean, I'm basically all in anyway. I wish I had, if somebody gave me $10,000 right now, you bet your butt I would absolutely, let's say I had $10,000 extra right now, we dumped out of 50K, you bet your sweet butt that I would be longing that. But to be honest, I'm kind of longing everything in this market. Let's take a look here. So FU, we've been telling you what's about to happen for literally years. You just didn't listen. I'm going to tell you again, 1 million Bitcoin by January 3rd, 2025. That would be really cool. I would have more money than, well, to be honest, I wouldn't even know what to do if that actually happened. That'd be kind of crazy. Yeah, that'd be sick. Also, it's an absolute massacre this week. Bitcoin inflows of about 700 million versus gold's outflows of 15 million. I want to talk about something actually. Did you guys see that tweet by Peter Schiff? It was like this weird tweet. I'm not even going to bother pulling it up. It basically said something along the lines of like, gold is leaving, people are leaving gold and going into Bitcoin. And then it was like 3 or 4 dumb things. And then it ended by him basically saying eventually it'll go back into gold. It's like, no, it won't. Doesn't make any sense. It was a really weird tweet. I feel like he was crying in his bathtub when he typed that. It was kind of just like a depressing, very unconvincing tweet. And I could just see him, sitting in his bed, watching the Bitcoin inflows, watching the gold outflows, and just crying. I don't know if he's married, but, maybe crying to his wife or... I honestly don't care. So Bitcoin ETF saw a record inflow yesterday of about 700 million, just getting started, absolutely. Crypto Moon, this is actually an interesting chart as well. If we look at the total three-month chart, look at this. Yes, altcoins are about ready to lift off, in my opinion. I think alts are about to go big. We also see that Merrill and Wells Fargo are about to offer Bitcoin ETFs to their clients, right? People are going to be giving in, I believe. I believe that, for example, I believe it's Vanguard that is like refusing to offer Bitcoin ETFs to their customers. I believe they will be giving in soon too. I think that this is just too tasty to give up. I feel like these institutions watching all this money be made, watching all these inflows, how can they not want a piece of the... they want to dip their grubby little fingers in the applesauce. They want to get in, and FOMO is real. Especially you're seeing Larry Fink, the king of kings. All hail Larry Fink. I mean, this guy's making money hand over fist, and these wealthy clients are gonna, if they're smart, they're gonna want a piece of the pie, and we're seeing that. That's what this news right here is as well. Bitcoin cannot be tamed. Bitcoin's second phase of the bull is now confirmed, according to Titan of Crypto. If we take a squeak peek into here, the bullish crocodile, there it is, pretty big. And this is the beginning of a massive bust right here. So if we actually also look at this, I thought this was interesting. Bitwise CIO Matt Hogan said he's going to be talking to one of the largest institutional consultants in the US about Bitcoin spot ETFs today. Pretty big. I mean, just further... more about what I was just talking about, how institutions are going to be more and more willing to offer this service of these Bitcoin ETFs because of how, frankly, profitable it is and will be. We're also seeing Ethereum. Again, we want to watch this breakout continue. Everything's a little bit down as I'm recording this. One thing I think is interesting on the entire cryptocurrency market cap minus Bitcoin, so the entire altcoin market cap, back here, the breakout for alts really started when they breached about $100 billion in valuation. That's what this white line is, $100 billion in valuation. Right here. Now, right here is exactly $1 trillion of valuation. So 100 billion is this white line. This one's 1 trillion. And this seems to be where this breakout is really going to start, right? We're already climbing out of this consolidation range in the pre-bust, similar to back here in 2019 and 2018. But yeah, we're really climbing out of this. This 1 trillion, I think, is going to be huge. Surpassing this today, 1 trillion in market cap, I think is going to initiate kind of mega boosters a little bit. and give Bitcoin, or sorry, give altcoins some room here. We look at Bitcoin on the 4-hour chart. You can see this is one of the bigger pullbacks we've seen on the 4-hour chart, considering we've just been going straight up for the past, geesh Louise, 3 days. Yeah, I mean, you look on the daily chart, it is straight up for the last 3 days. Will we have some sort of pullback? It's hard to know. I think this is going to be gobbled up sooner or later. You know, maybe we will have a pullback for a day or two. Ultimately, the longer time horizon you have, the less it matters, because ultimately it is going up, in my opinion. I mean, there's no refuting that. Now, again, we got within about 7 to 8% of all-time highs. Crazy. There is no significant resistance above us. If Coinbase didn't go down yesterday, could we have got up to all-time highs? Maybe. I think, you know, that I was watching literally when Coinbase went down, it like killed the rally. I don't know for sure if that's what killed the rally, but like the timing was there, meaning we were just pumping straight up and then Coinbase went down and then we stopped pumping straight up. But basically the point is literally any day, even as Bitcoin is at 60,000 right now, maybe it's a little lower or higher by the time you're watching this, doesn't really matter. The point is we are now in that zone where in any day, any given day, we're close enough to where we could be at new all-time highs like that. Could be in an hour. Let's say we're trading at $55,000 tomorrow or something. And then the next day or Monday, you know, when it's not weekend trading, that could be the day we go from 50, 55, whatever, and realistically breaking up to new all-time highs. It's not unrealistic at this point. We're basically right there. Stock market, a little sideways today. We're also seeing the DXY pretty much sideways as well. Altcoins up still in the day compared to Bitcoin, but ultimately, yeah, I think altcoins are going to really start busting out soon. I think Bitcoin, as soon as it breaks all-time highs or around this range, if we just start trading sideways and cement some support, altcoins will start to run, in my opinion. Altcoins are very overdue, I think, for a bust. And get signed up to FEMEX below if you want to buy Bitcoin or altcoins. Without any further ado, that's for me.